Thank you. My question is to Secretary Clinton and Minister Cannon, and it concerns something which receives scant mention in your prepared statement, the ongoing discussion of perimeter security. It's 9 years now since a smart border agreement was signed, producing in the intervening period a border that seems to get ever thicker. It's very frustrating for Canadian travelers and for business, time-consuming and expensive. Is the relative silence on this topic in your statement, does it suggest that this is on the back burner? Just not ready, too complex, what? And second of all, and more specifically, can you give us any assurances that that if there is ever an agreement on this topic, that it will produce not a thicker border, but a thinner one?
Let me, Terry, first address that. The challenge, of course, that exists is the following. On the one hand, to be able to maintain the level of trade and our commercial relationship with our largest trading partner in the world, to maintain that and to see it progress over the course of the next several months, indeed over the course of the next several years, both in Canada and in the United States, just so that we get a general idea of what this means. It's $1.6 billion of trade on a daily basis. It's roughly, both in Canada and the United States, a number of direct and indirect jobs. So that, on the one hand, constitutes a challenge. The other challenge, of course, is to make sure that our countries stay safe from the threat of terrorism. So indeed, what is a task here is to be able to continually look at ways that we can put in motion so that those two issues be addressed, and that we are able to continue to sustain the economic recovery, albeit extremely fragile, but the economic recovery that's underway. And so that is the perspective that Canada brings to this issue.
I would only add that this is a bilateral issue on which we meet and discuss regularly with our Canadian colleagues, so it's not surprising that it wouldn't be on the agenda of a trilateral meeting such as this. We are very conscious of the stakes because, as Lawrence said, we want this to enhance not just security, but trade and commercial activity, business connections, people-to-people travel, recreation, tourism. For 8 years I represented New York, which has a long and very friendly border with Canada, and I am very acutely aware of the importance of this most significant relationship along our long and peaceful border. So we are, I think, committed to discussing and arriving at conclusions about how best to deal with the environment in which we find ourselves today, to try to create a border that, yes, protects Canadians and Americans, but also enables the kind of ongoing interactions that are critical to both nations.
Last question from Interior Lakshman, Bloomberg.
Thank you, Secretary Clinton. The American press has one question that's off the trilateral, outside of the trilateral agenda. We would love to get your interpretation of Iranian President Ahmadinejad's firing of your counterpart, Mr. Mottaki, today, and what you think that